Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. And tonight we're going to be recapping the 7 game slate that we just got through last night. Before we recap the slate, we're going to go by our usual formatting of the show. We are going to We're going to jump into our 4 highlighted players. Yes, we added one. We have a new category that this player played so well, we had to develop a new category. Then once we highlight the players that we're going to feature, we're going to get into my best DraftKings lineup, jump into the recap of the slate, and then we're going to preview point totals and player pricing for Tuesday, November 8th, and that is a really nice 6 game slate. Now, I don't too much like 6 game slates because those are more stacked slates to me. When we get into 7, 8, 9, 10 games, that's where we can kind of cherry pick and we don't have to roster too many players from the same team. We can be more selective in our roster construction. But on these 6 game slates, I'm gonna warn you now. You're gonna want to stack some guys. You're gonna want to look at the point totals and see which teams are going to be scoring the most points and get as much exposure to those teams as you can. And I gotta say, I'm very proud of the DFS Sweatshop, especially the core members, the guys who not just watch the videos, who like, subscribe, and share the videos on YouTube, but those guys that follow me over on Twitter, and that's where they get to really get to know the intricacies of the 4 core strategy, the core 4 strategy that I like to implement. And a lot of guys are doing it for themselves. I saw a lot of guys post their own core 4s and it did well for them. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to streamline your roster selection so that you're not all over the place canceling out good plays that you already have on your roster with other plays that are not so good, and before you know it, you've rostered pretty much everybody on the slate. This is what we're doing. We're streamlining, making what I want to see from you guys. I want to see you enter a GPP, maybe a multi-entry, and I want to see you have 10 entries, and I want to see you in first place, fourth place, seventh place, eighth place. You see what I'm saying? Because you stuck to that same core of plays that you really liked, and you didn't listen to all of the podcasts, you didn't listen to Roto Grinders, you didn't listen to Fantasy Labs and let them take you all the way off of the players that you came to in the beginning. And I'm gonna show you how that happened. That actually happened to me on this lineup. That actually happened because I had no intention on rostering one of the players in this lineup, but that 5 o'clock goddamn Roto Grinders, and guess what they did? They put me on to tonight's snowflake. But before we get into that, we're gonna highlight the the who that scoring all them points over there. And this award goes to the player that we didn't see a lot of ownership in him. No one saw him coming. We didn't understand how this guy was going to be that good, and he was very good tonight. And it is Derek Favors, none other than Derek Favors from the Utah Jazz. He went out in 29 minutes and had 16 points, 14 rebounds. He did hit the double-double bonus, had 1 assist, 1 steal, and 3 blocks for 41 DraftKings points at 3% owned in some GPPs. He is somebody to definitely watch going forward. The next guy we're going to get into is our how did I miss that player tonight? Now, this is going to be Clint Capella. He had a wonderful game. Very, very low ownership, 0.5% in some of the single entry GPPs that I entered. And he had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocks, 1 steal for 30.5 DraftKings points. The next guy we're going to get into is going to be our heat check player tonight. And you know what? This is vintage Curry that we're seeing. I mean, Steph went out there and banged out 13 3-pointers. He had 46 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a couple steals, and he was only 15% owned in the 600K GPP, the larger one that we all had a piece of. And he had an excellent game, 68 DraftKings points we saw out of Steph Curry. And now we're going to get to that one motherfucker. The motherfucker who Roto Grinders put me on. Now, I thought this was going to be an industry play that was going to do well and keep me with the field. But guess what this motherfucking snowflake did? I'm gonna show you what he did. He went out and he scored 7 points, 9 rebounds, 1 3-pointer, and 1 steal for 19.75 DraftKings points at 5.9K and 30% owned in single entry GPPs and almost 37% owned in the large GPPs. This is none other than Markieff Morris. Markieff, I hope you're watching this because you are tonight's snowflake of the motherfucking night. All right? You tonight's snowflake, Markieff Morris. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get mad. We're going to berate this guy. We're going to be upset. We're going to be pissed. He is on our piss list, but we're going to brush it off just like a bad interception from Eli Manning, and we're going to go out and throw another touchdown tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's recap. We are going to start with the first game on the evening. It was the Utah Jazz taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. This was in Philadelphia. Now, we already thought this game might be a blowout. Now, and just to give you a quick heads up, I'm drinking my Crown Royal and Sprite because we did double our buy-in. I'll show you that in a moment. Oh, I forgot. Oh, let's get into the lineup first. Let's get into the lineup. Before we get into that, let's get into the lineup. All right. I'm going to show you how roto grinders can fuck you up. I am a seasoned, experienced DFS player, but I am not above being duped by the larger pundits, for lack of a better term. Let's look at it. Now, we knew that my core four plays, I loved James Harden. You know, I loved Kemba Walker at home. We always give Kemba a strong look whenever he's at home. When he got hoes at his show, he goes in. So we always want to look at Kemba Walker at home. All right. Kemba went out and had 51 DraftKings points. James Harden had 61 DraftKings points. Now, what I wanted from my core four, it was Joel Embiid, James Harden, Kemba Walker, and John Wall. What I was looking for was roughly 168 DraftKings points. That's 5 times value, up to 202 DraftKings points. That's 6 times value. They all combined for 179, so I was pretty close to the target. I like to get closer to the 6 times, of course, but I was close to the 5 times value, which was still, you know, right where I wanted. It was right where I needed those guys to be in order to do what I felt and make a solid push in most of my lineups. All right. Now, when I saw the Markieff Morris being the industry favorite, he was like the most owned guy on most slates today. I pivoted. I made a big pivot off of John Wall in this one. And what I did was I paid all the way down for Shelvin Mack, who was a decent play. At minimum salary, he was 3K. He went out and he scored 20 DraftKings points. And what that did was that freed me up enough salary to do something that was kind of contrarian. What I did was I have Dwayne Wade and Jimmy Butler. Now, they were on pace to having monster games, but the game was a blowout. And that also led me to Markieff Morris to keep up with the rest of the field because I thought that they were going to have everybody was going to be on Markieff Morris. So what I did was I pivoted off of John Wall, got Shelvin Mack in his place, and then I ended up upgrading at all these positions. But when I got the center, I needed some help somewhere. So I looked around, I saw what I had. I said, well, I'm going to get a big that's going to match one of these point guards in this area. And who goes out every game and has 14, 15 assists? It is James Harden. So I put Clint Capella in that spot, and that worked out wonderfully as he is our who that scoring all them points player of the night. He ended up with 30.5 DraftKings points, and this was not my best lineup because I had 295 in a later entry, but everybody had a high score in that because it was only two games to play that night, last night. So this was the highest score that I had of all of the regular main slate games, and it just so happened that this is the lineup that I entered in all of my single entry GPPs. Let's take a look. Because when I got Markieff Morris in there at that price, and I was still able to get Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade, who both went under 10% owned, I thought I was going to be in position to take some shit down. But whatever. So I entered it twice in the 600K mega 4-point play. I had it in the $5 buy-in for the high 5 single entry. the 4K jump shot single entry, the daily dollar single entry, and I had it 4 times in the 35K and one. And I can't stress enough to you the value of playing these single entry tournaments. If you're just in the big 600K tournament, that means you're going up against guys who have 50, 100, 150 lineups sometimes at a time. So you're going to want to be you're going to want to get in player pools with less sharks. That's what you want to do. And the way to do that is to play either cash games, which I do not like. I don't play cash games. Or you're going to want to play these single entry GPPs. And that's what I did. That was my best lineup. Let's go ahead and jump into the recap from last night. Now, in 30 minutes, in Philadelphia, we had Gordon Hayward. He had 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Derek Favors, we talked about him. Very great game from Derek Favors. Rudy Gobert, who I was not very high on, and who a dude called me out in my YouTube chat, and I tried to explain to him that Joel Embiid and or Jahlil Okafor was going to cook him. They did just that. He had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Rodney Hood was a really good play. He had 18 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And of course, we talked about Shelvin Mack already with Dante Exum coming out in that scrub love in 19 minutes, getting 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 block. On the Philadelphia side, Robert Covington was somebody who I really liked. If you followed me on Twitter, you saw that I had him in my lineup. I really like Robert Covington to bounce back against this Utah team, and he went out and had a really solid game for his price point. He had 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. Joel Embiid, 14 points and 9 rebounds. We didn't see the 24 minutes that we thought we would get from Embiid. He ended up playing only 19. He got in some foul trouble. Gerald Henderson played 24 minutes and had 7 points and 3 rebounds. And, of course, Jahlil Okafor had 15 points and 4 rebounds with an assist and a block in 22 minutes. The next game we're going to be recapping is going to be the Houston Rockets going to the Washington Wizards. Now, really bad ending for the big homie John Wall. He ended up getting ejected from the game after his second technical foul, but he did have a fairly decent game, almost made value. He had, in 35 minutes, he had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. We saw an excellent game from Otto Porter, who I really didn't like going into this game, but he made me a believer. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block in 38 minutes. That is a lot of minutes for him to be on the floor. Markieff Morris, of course, we talked about that. Snowflake. And Marcin Gortat, 14 points, 12 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks for him. That was a really great game for him. And Bradley Beal has quietly snapped out of the shooting slump that he was in for the better part of the beginning of the season. He had 20 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block for him. On the Houston side of the ball, James Harden was his usual self, 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 15 assists. We saw a pretty good game from Ryan Anderson, 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists with a steal. Eric Gordon off of the bench still played 31 minutes. Even though he got demoted, he still played 31 minutes. And Corey Brewer, I don't know if any of you fell for that shit. It was a trap from day one. I never would even think about rostering Corey Brewer. He had 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. The next game we're going to be talking about is going to be the Indiana Pacers going up against the Charlotte Hornets. And forgive me a little bit, I live kind of close to Charlotte. I am a Knicks fan, but when I want to go see really good basketball, I don't have far to go. I go to Charlotte because I know Kemba's going to be at home. He's a New York guy, and he's going to be cooking. And that's what he did tonight. Kemba went the fuck off. Didn't even play in the fourth quarter. Didn't even play. And the dude could have went off for 70. Didn't even play in the fourth quarter. He ended up with 24 points, 2 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block in a blowout. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, he had some injury concerns toward the end of the game. He had 13 points and a quadruple one, a rebound, assist, a steal, and a block. We also saw Nick Batum in 29 minutes have a pretty underwhelming game, but still fill up the stat sheets. He had 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Spencer Hawes was the gem of this game. This dude had 13 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals in some very much needed scrub love. Some of the guys on Twitter, they rostered him and they were very pleased with that output. We saw a really strong first half on the other side of the ball from Paul George, but he kind of fizzled out. He had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Miles Turner had 12 points and 5 rebounds with a couple blocks. Thaddeus Young, man, 16 minutes. I don't know what's going on with Thaddeus Young. I didn't have him anywhere. He's a player that, if you listen to my previous shows, you know I like him. But who was the guy who I was highest on the Indiana side of the ball? I love C.J. Miles. He went out in 25 minutes and had 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 steal. He is shooting hot right now. You want to ride him while the getting is good. Al Jefferson, in a little revenge game, had a pretty decent game for his price point. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal for him. The next game we're going to be getting into is going to be the Orlando Magic at the Chicago Bulls. We already talked about Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade. They had excellent games, went way under the radar. I didn't think this game was going to be a blowout at all. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout at all. But the game was in Chicago. The crowd was into it from the very beginning. They punched them in the mouth, and it was a very good game from the 2 stars from this team. Even Rondo got in the mix. He had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. We saw 16 and 11 from Taj Gibson. This dude is for real, man. He is a rebounder. He's developing an offensive game even late in his career. He's somebody that we want to watch going forward. When we see Taj Gibson going up against teams that are bad rebounding, he is going to gobble up those rebounds. And a lot of times he gets putbacks, offensive rebounds. He scores a little bit too. Dougie McDermott came off the bench and had 11 points and 4 rebounds with 1 assist and some scrub love. And Dwayne Wade, 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists in only 24 minutes. These guys didn't have to play a lot. I mean, we got 30 minutes from Jimmy Butler. He had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. For the Orlando side of the ball, I mean, how pissed was everybody with nobody knowing what the deal with the Vooch news was? So I just didn't start Biyombo anywhere. At 6:58, I'm at the job. I check my Twitter. I see there's still no news, so I didn't make any changes. I didn't roster Biyombo anywhere. He only went out in 18 minutes, Biyombo that is, and had 2 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. We saw Aaron Gordon in 30 minutes. He had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And Vucevic, now that we have to get to him, he had 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. Evan Fournier in 29 minutes had 13 points, 2 assists, 1 assist, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal for him. The next game we're going to be getting into is going to be the Miami Heat at the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you rostered Russell Westbrook, sorry for you. I told you, fadeless. There's no way at 12K I'm going to be playing the guy. There's no way. There's no way. At 12K, I get Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Wade at just over 12K. There's no way I'm going to be rostering this guy at that high a price. I mean, he's got to get, to get what I want 6 times value. He's got to get 80 points floor. He has to have an 80-point floor for me to roster him at 12.2K. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The Sabonis, Arvydas' son, had a really good game. He had 15 points and 10 rebounds in 30 minutes, and a lot of it was scrub love, 1 assist too. Oladipo had 17, 2, and 2. And Enes Kanter finally got back in the groove. And in 20 minutes, he had 24 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist. Now, if you remember last year, he was a very good point per minute player. So we want to keep our eyes on Kanter going forward. We didn't see a really good game from Sam Adams. He had 6 points and 6 rebounds with 3 steals and 2 blocks in 29 minutes. And Russell Westbrook, of course, 26 minutes, he had 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists, and you just didn't need him on a night like tonight. You didn't need him at all. Now, the next, well, on the other side of the ball, actually, we're going to get into Goran Dragic, who I really didn't like. Told you I didn't like him. He had 11 points, a rebound, and 4 assists. Whiteside in 30 minutes had 5 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. And it was a bittersweet night because I didn't roster Whiteside anywhere. You know how much I like him, but I told you on last night's show I wasn't going to be touching him there. Josh Johnson, man, had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. But you can't predict that, man. That was straight up scrub love for him. Luke Babbitt in 23 minutes had 11 points and 4 rebounds. Not too much else off the bench. We saw a little Willie Reed. Of course, once the game got out of hand, the reserves came in, and in 17 minutes, he had 11 points and 4 rebounds with 1 assist and 2 blocks. The next game we're going to get into, part of the late games. These games were 10:30s. the Detroit Pistons got the doors blown off of them by the LA Clippers. It was over before it started. They never really were in the game. We saw Blake Griffin flirt. I'm talking about flirt like a girl in high school with a triple-double. He had 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. JJ Redick was really hot, scorching hot from behind the arc. He had 20 points and 1 rebound for him. Chris Paul, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And this guy's the safest play on every slate. I mean, he really is. He's just the safest play on every slate. DeAndre Jordan got into the mix a little bit at 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist and a block. We also saw the coach's son in Scrub Love get 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. A little something from Raymond Felton in 23 minutes. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And of course, like all the bench guys just got off because the game was over far before it was supposed to have been. Tobias Harris on the other side had 12 points and 3 rebounds. Very underwhelming for him. Marcus Morris, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Andre Drummond still continued his double-double ways. He had 15 points and 12 boards with 2 steals and a block. We saw John Lure in an extended role, of course, because it was Scrub Love. In 28 minutes, he had 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Stanley Johnson also played 24 minutes and had 11 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, and 1 steal. And we got to be on the lookout for him because KCP is just not playing well. This dude had 1 point and 1 rebound. He's just not playing well, and he played 23 minutes. The next game and the last game on the slate, this is the one that everybody was sweating in some way. Either you didn't want them to score a bunch of points or you needed them to score a bunch of points to get you in the money. I completely faded this game on the main slate. On my main slate, I had them nowhere because I just felt it was going to be a blowout. It wasn't until the very end, but the score wasn't that high, crazy scoring game that we all thought it was going to be. Well, they did finish at 224, so that's a decent score, but we didn't see the crazy Anthony Davis game. I told you we wouldn't. We didn't see, the crazy Durant game. I didn't think we would, but we did see tonight's Heat Check player tonight, and he went the fuck off. Curry in 35 minutes had 46 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Now this is, if you remember, if we played last year, Curry was the guy who would win you all the money late at night. Now, is he getting back to that old way, or is it going to be a situation where one of these guys are going to go off every night? You just don't know who it's going to be. I think that's what it is. So I'm going to continue to let the main guy that I roster on this team be Draymond Green. And speaking of Draymond Green, he went out and had 4 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. You see how he can be so involved in the game without actually scoring? That's why I like Draymond Green every day for daily fantasy. He had 34 minutes as well. We saw Klay Thompson get hot shooting again, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 steals. Kevin Durant had 22 with 3 rebounds, a steal, and 5 assists with a block to top it off. David West came off of the bench in 14 minutes and had 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. On the other side of the ball, we didn't see a bad game from Anthony Davis, but we didn't see that 70 points that we needed for him to crush value. And he had 33 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 block. Omar Asik had 8 points and 6 rebounds. We saw Tim Frazier quietly have a double-double, 13 points with 4 rebounds and 10 assists with 2 steals. Etuan Moore had 15 points and 3 rebounds with 5 assists in 31 minutes. Solomon Hill got the start. He played 32 minutes and had 2 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. So that wasn't bad for his price. Buddy Hield was somebody a lot of people were talking about throughout the day. He did get an extension in minutes. Even though the game was close, he still was on the floor for a good amount of time. And in 27 minutes he played, he had 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist. That wraps up last night's slate. Let's go ahead and get into some player pricing for tomorrow's 6-gamer. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit up the lobby. Let's go to the creative lineup. We're not really going to create a lineup, but we're just going to pull it up and see where we are as far as price. Because remember, 6-game slates are definitely stackable slates where we can just look at teams that we like and say, hey, I'm going all in on this team. All right, so the top play on the board tomorrow is going to be Anthony Davis. You see that? Let's get the focus correct here. Like taking a swig is going to get the focus correct. Okay. The top play on the board here is going to be Anthony Davis. He's coming in at 11 K flat. And we've got DeMarcus Cousins at 10.4. LeBron James, who is small forward and power forward eligible, at 9.9. We've got Dame Lillard, Dame Game at 9.1. We've got Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat, at 8.5, going against the Brooklyn Nets in a plus matchup. We've got Paul Millsap playing Cleveland at 7.9. We've got Dwight Howard at 7.8 against Cleveland. Kyrie Irving is coming in at 7.5. We've got Kevin Love, who is power forward and center eligible, coming in at 7.3. We've got CJ McCollum, who surprisingly is available at point guard and shooting guard, coming in at 7.1. We've got Marc Gasol going up against those Denver bigs at 7K flat. Mike Conley, he is questionable, so we want to be on the lookout for that. TJ Warren, the price is slowly creeping up, but it is creeping up slowly, so he's somebody that we can look to at 6.9 in a plus matchup against the Portland Trail Blazers. Rudy Gay, who I think I'm gonna like Rudy Gay tomorrow at 6.8 going against New Orleans in a plus matchup. We've got Eric Bledsoe, Harrison Barnes, who was scorching hot last time out at 6.7. Devin Booker, he is shooting guard and small forward eligible again at 6.K. We've got Gorgie Jang at 6.5, Brook Lopez 6.5. D'Angelo Russell, his price went down a little bit. He's 6.5 as well. Zach LaVine is going to be 6.3K. Nurkic, Dennis Schroeder, Wiggins, and Moutier 6K flat for him. JJ Barea is up to 6,000. Oh, JJ Barea. Oh, no. If you ain't 6 feet, I ain't paying 6,000 for you, unless you're Isaiah Thomas. Chris Dunn is going to be 5.4 going up against Brooklyn. We want to be on the lookout for that. We want to watch that. Sean Kilpatrick is up to 5.4. That's still a really good price for a player that good, especially in that high tempo matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves too. Terrence Jones is at 5.2. Tristan Thompson 5.1. I don't know how he's going to fare against those bigs in Atlanta. I probably would stay away from him today. Tyson Chandler's coming in at 5K. Wesley Matthews, who we will not touch. Trevor Booker at 4.9. I kind of like him there. Farouk Aminu at 4.8. James Ennis at 4.7. Fareed at 4.7. Jordan Clarkson at 4.7. I kind of like that. I kind of like Jordan Clarkson at that price. Brandon Knight off the bench at 4.6. Larry Nance Jr., who we know is out, which I think will make way for Brandon Ingram. Matter of fact, let's check the price on him. Oh, Ingram's coming in at 3.5K. I might like him. He might be a part of the core. Well, we'll get into that tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter to see what's up with the core 4. All right. Now, first game we're going to be getting into as a part of our slate breakdown for Tuesday, which is a 6-game slate. The Atlanta Hawks traveling to Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers, the LeBron James-led Cavaliers. Now, this is a 207 point total, and it is a 8.5 point differential. Cleveland, of course, being the favorite, giving up 8.5 points to the Atlanta Hawks. I gotta say, I like Millsap in this game. I think Millsap is somebody who he does so much, and he's so active in so many different areas that he is going to be somebody that you can roster night in and night out. Now, of course, against LeBron James, Kevin Love is going to be a difficult task, but somebody has to carry the scoring load in this game. Like somebody has to be, that go-to person in this game, and I really think that it can be Paul Millsap. Dwight Howard is somebody we can look to. Especially, you can look at him going up against Tristan Thompson. He's going to be able to manhandle him. But I think if I had to stack, if you had to choose, well, Maurice, right now, what team are you going to stack? It would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. I would like definitely Kyrie, LeBron, and Love, and I would make the rest work somewhere. So this is definitely a stackable offense when we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Vegas point totals are a little off right now, and they're going to get sharper as the year progresses. But I really do like Cleveland for the stack in this game. As far as J.R. Smith, yeah, sure, he's in play. You can take a chance on J.R. Smith, but if I was going to be rostering anybody in this game, it would be definitely somebody from the big three. The next game we're going to be getting into is going to be the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Nets are going to be getting 4 points in this game. This is a 205 total, which is a pretty good total for a team this bad. When you get the Brooklyn Nets, a team this bad, at home with a 205 total, they may be able to exceed that and play really well and keep this game closer than the point spread even will indicate. Maybe even be leading at certain points during the game. So I do like Sean Kilpatrick in this game going up against the rookie Kevin Dunn. I also like Trevor Booker in this game. I don't know how I feel about Brook Lopez. I think going up against Cat is really going to give him fits, and Gorgie Jang, because they got two really good low block rebounders and offensive players in Cat and Gorgie Jang. Gorgie Jang can shoot the mid-range jumper. He's somebody I like on the other side of the ball. If I had to go somewhere in this game, I would definitely go along the perimeter as far as the Brooklyn Nets. On the Minnesota side of the ball, I like Dunn. I like Levine. This is definitely a stackable game. This is going to be one of those low-owned stacks that a lot of people aren't going to be on. So I can definitely see, you taking a shot at Levine, Dunn, and Cat in the stack. And I'm gonna give you probably my favorite play from this game is going to be Rondae Hollis Jefferson. This dude had an awesome game out the last time, and he's going to see Minnesota in a fast-paced, a lot of missed shots, bad defense. Neither teams are really defensively sound. I like there's two plays I like already just from the eye test, and you got to understand. You've got to get NBA League Pass. If you're going to be a serious DFS NBA player, you got to have League Pass because you've got to see these guys perform. And Rondae Hollis Jefferson is somebody who I really liked, dating back to the preseason, and I really like him in this game. He's somebody that's going to be low owned because not a lot of people know about him. He's going to be cheap, right, hovering just under 4K. Because you remember, in my core 4 strategy, I need two guys 4.8K or less, and I think him and somebody else we're going to talk about a little later can fit the bill for that. So keep your eyes out for Rondae Hollis Jefferson in this game. We talked about the Minnesota side and how I feel about stacking from there. I do not like Wiggins. He's going to see Hollis Jefferson defense, and Wiggins is prone to turn the ball over. Wiggins is prone to turn the ball over. So I do not like Wiggins. If I had to go somewhere, it would be Levine, it would be Dunn, and it would definitely be Karl-Anthony Towns, maybe sprinkling a little bit of Gorgie Jang. Okay, the next game we're going to be getting into is going to be the Memphis Grizzlies at the Grindhouse, taking on the Denver Nuggets. We've got a 202.5 point total. Denver coming in kind of hobbled. We're not going to see Will Barton. You've got to respect Wilson Chandler right now. He's playing really great basketball. So I could definitely see him being on some rosters tomorrow. Also, I like, I'm more of a Jokic guy than a Nurkic guy. Last time I predicted the Nurkic game, he did have a better game than Jokic. But this time I like Jokic because I think he's going to be a better matchup problem for Marc Gasol. So I do like Jokic, and I like Marc Gasol too. Now Mike Conley is questionable in this game, so we want to make sure we're following the Memphis beat writers. We're staying in touch on Twitter and making sure we get the news if Mike Conley is going to be playing or not. If he doesn't, this makes this game a lot more tasty. If Mike Conley is out, this makes this game a lot more tasty because he is a really good defender, and I would love some Moutier if Mike Conley is going to be out. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Phoenix Suns at the Portland Trail Blazers. And you know me by now. Dame games. I love to roster Dame. He's probably my favorite NBA player right now. And I really like him in this matchup. Didn't have a really good game out last time. And I didn't roster him either because I can just feel. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be a great game for him. But this is going to be a really, really, really tasty spot for him. This is a A 217-point total, with Portland being the 8-point favorite. They're giving up 8 points to Phoenix, and I love to roster point guards at home. We saw that with Kemba Walker last night, who I gave to you. I told you about that. We've got to roster point guards when they're at home, especially guys this good that get this up for the home crowd. He's always tweeting. He engages with his fans. He's a really great guy, and they say he can rap too. I never heard nothing, but so there's no fantasy points for rapping. Dame, just go out there and ball. I like him in this game. I also like. I actually like both front courts and both back courts in this game. I like Booker, of course, who is small forward eligible. So on DraftKings, man, you can roster up to 5 guards the way the slate is going to be set up tomorrow. I like Lillard. I like McCollum. I like Booker. I like Bledsoe in this game. If I had to roster a big from either side, it would be Alex Len. Alex Len is a play that I really like in this game, because if that 8-point total is true, we're going to see an extended run from the guys that come off of the bench. And Alex Len should be starting. I don't know why they continue to start Tyson Chandler and keep Alex Len on the bench. Once he gets rolling, man, he is good. If you get him involved in the game early, he balls out. And I like Alex Len. He was like the man wrapping up the year last year. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I'm not the coach. I can't tell him what to do. But those are the plays that I do like from this game. As far as value plays, you've got to like Evan Turner. He has really stepped up his rebounding game this year. So I do like Evan Turner as a value play, somebody coming off the bench. On the Portland side, on the Phoenix side, you got to look at the young guys, the rookies. Marcus Chris, if it's going to be a blowout. You look at Dragon Bender, if it's going to be a blowout. That's if you feel that is going to come to fruition. I think you can look to those guys, those young guys, off of the Phoenix bench. The next game we're going to get into is going to be the Dallas Mavericks at the LA Lakers. This is a 205-point total, with the Lakers at home giving up 4.5 to the Dallas Mavericks. Again, we've got a premier point guard at home in a plus matchup favored. Those are so many things that's going in D'Angelo Russell's favor. I'm gonna run them down to you. Number one, he's coming off a bad performance where they still won. He didn't play well, but they still won. So his confidence isn't hurt because they lost the game and he had a bad game. No, that's not it. He just lost the game, but he had a good game. All right. Number two, he's a late night hammer, somebody you can run people down with. Number three, he's at home. He's a good point guard at home. And number four is he is the favorite. This LA team is the favorite in this game. So I really think you can look to roster him. And we've got players out. We know that Larry Nance Jr. suffered a concussion, and he didn't even travel with the team. I don't think he's going to be traveling with the team on their East Coast swing after this Dallas game. So I do like Brandon Ingram. I think he's going to see an extended role off of the bench. He is the other player. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson and Brandon Ingram will definitely be value plays in my lineups tomorrow. Definitely. I'm going to have them in a lot of spots. I can tell you that right now. I also like Julius Randle with the handle. I like him. We've got to look out for Mozgov because the Dallas big is a stiff. He is a straight stiff. So I really think we can have a solid showing from Mozgov in this game. I like Clarkson at his depressed price point. This is very stackable. The Lakers are stackable right now. They're playing well. They're getting up and down the floor. They're scoring over 100 points almost every time out. So I like the Lakers. I like the Lakers in this game, and I like the Lakers as far as rostering certain players for daily fantasy. On the other side of the ball, we know Dirk Nowitzki's not going to be playing. You can fire up Harrison Barnes. He is the only man on the team that's going to be getting it done. JJ Barea costs too much for me right now at 6 point whatever K. I don't like JJ Barea. Wesley Matthews is not really shooting the ball very well. I really don't like too much from this Dallas team at all. You've got Powell's going to be coming off the bench, seeing extended minutes because, of course, Dirk is going to be out. But I don't like too much off of this Dallas team. And now the last game of the slate is where we're going to see the two highest players as far as DraftKings pricings go, we're gonna see Boogie and we're gonna see Anthony Davis. Now, I love Anthony Davis tomorrow. I love Boogie tomorrow. But I'll tell you who I really love. And this is another good point guard at home. Now, this dude likes to hit the chicks. So we don't like him for that. We're mad about that. You like to hit chicks, fuck you. Because we don't hit chicks. That shit is whack. But we trying to make this money too. Darren Collison is a very good point guard in a plus matchup at the crib. Redemption, vengeance, revenge, coming out to show that he is good and he deserves a starting job in this league, and forgive him for hitting the chicks, which we kind of don't because we hate when people hit chicks. We don't get down like that. But I like him tomorrow. I do. I like him tomorrow. We're going to see a totally different Boogie Cousins tomorrow. Boogie is going to be so helped by Darren Collison coming back that he is my stone lock. Boogie is my stone lock for 5 times value tomorrow. I don't care what his price is. He is my stone lock for 5 times value tomorrow. I love Boogie Cousins tomorrow against the New Orleans Pelicans. So, also, we've got to consider Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is in consideration. But see, with them having somebody they can trust, as far as Darren Collison, to bring the ball up the court and facilitate and be a part of every play, you may not get as much touches from Rudy Gay. So that could kind of have me, if I go on him, I'm gonna go pretty light. I'm not gonna have him a high percentage of Rudy Gay, but I still kind of like him somewhat in tomorrow's game. On the other side of the ball, now Darren Collison is a really good player. He's a mediocre defender, so we can fire up the damn point guard. I always forget the damn point guard name. Frazier. We can fire up Tim Frazier tomorrow. You can also fire up Anthony Davis. I think he's going to be in. See, this slate is going to be either a Boogie. There's 3 players you're going to have. There's 3 players that every team is going to have on their team. I don't care who they are. Either you're going to have Boogie on your team, you're going to have Anthony Davis on your team, or you're going to have LeBron on your team. And the guys that have both of any of these players are probably going to lose. Because it's going to mean that you're going to have to dig so deep for value that may not hit, that it's going to be hard. So get it in your mind now. When you set up your core 4, get it in your mind. Are you going to have a Boogie roster? Are you going to have a Anthony Davis roster? Or are you going to have a LeBron roster? And I'm going to tell you, having a LeBron roster, because he's the cheapest of the 3, is going to allow you the most flexibility in each positions. Now, I have the bankroll. Not that you don't have the money, but I have the bankroll and the bankroll management tactics in place to where I can do a core of Boogie, core of Anthony Davis, and a core of LeBron, and see where the chips fall. Because if they all have good games and I hit right on certain parts of the rosters, I'll be where I want to be. Kind of like what happened tonight. So I love in this game we talked about it. I like Boogie. I like Collison. He's going to be in a lot of my lineups. And I like Anthony Davis. But don't go ham and go straight stars and scrubs, because that's not going to get it. Stars and scrubs is not going to get on this slate. Stacking is going to get it on this slate. And being set and being firm in who you want to lead you to the top of the leaderboard. Do you want Boogie to take you? Do you want LeBron to take you? Or do you want Anthony Davis to take you? I've taken you as far as I can. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to some of my favorite Twitter followers. I love you all. But my man at where my dog at? Where my dog at? Some of my favorite Twitter followers, man. These guys are always chopping it up with me. Curtis Victor at KVic25. I love kicking it with you all day long, man. Thank you for your support. I appreciate everything that you're bringing to the show. You're bringing to Twitter, to the DFS Sweatshop in general. My man John, thank you so much for everything that you bring. And yo, let's go out and get this money. Remember, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Tonight, We were able to double our buy-in. We didn't get the big hit that we were looking for, but we doubled our buy-in, which is very important. We've got more to play with tomorrow. We are sticking to our bankroll. We are playing 10%. I tweeted about this earlier. Of our complete bankroll, we are playing no more than 10% per slate. That's if we really like the slate, we're going to play 10%. Of that 10%, we're going to take 80% and we're going to put it in single entry GPPs and or cash games. I do single entry GPPs because I don't like cash games. The other 20% of the 10, we're going to put those in the larger tournaments to see if we can hit that big money. But it's a slow walk. It's a grind. I love it. And I thank you all for coming on this ride with me. Again, I am your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. If you want to support the show monetarily, you can do that. There's a link, PC only, on my YouTube page. It says support the show. You're more than welcome to do that. If you wanted to send something, a tip or something in a tip jar to my personal PayPal, it is simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. Thank you. I am signing out. Y'all have a wonderful Tuesday, and let's get this money.